Take a look at some of the news coming out about Baker Mayfield. The first of these two is from Albert Breer from Monday Morning Quarterback, Sports Illustrated. Two operative questions: whether Sam Darnold can build enough belief in those around him after the way last year went, how quickly Corral comes. This is the Panthers monitoring the Baker Mayfield situation, and Carolina can't answer either of those two questions just yet. But for Carolina to trade for Mayfield, his sense is the Browns would have to eat a healthy majority of that nearly $19 million in 2022. Goes on to say his understanding is that the Browns are already willing to take a good chunk of that on to facilitate a trade, and the trade may have already happened if they were willing to take on more. Panthers Wire is also tweeting about the quarterback position, and they are saying that they are open to signing Cam Newton for a smaller salary and would be considered as a guy competing for the starting job, not the starter coming into the year. All right, when you break all of that down, what is it? Does it sound like the Panthers are posturing, trying to talk the Browns down even lower, or is Cam Newton somebody they may turn to compete with Darnold and Corral?
Feels like posturing to me. I mean, it's hard for me to kind of imagine, unless Carolina is really trying to do maybe not necessarily a stealth tank to try and get Bryce Young or CJ Stroud in 2023, but, not necessarily, maybe they're trying to flip the idea of, if Sam Darnold wants to be in Carolina in 2022, they basically are trying to say we're okay with that, we'll live with that, rather than take a chance on Baker Mayfield. And I think there's posturing involved. I mean, trades like this are negotiations. It's like a game of poker. You don't want to show all your cards. You want to try and make the other guy. You want to try to bait the other guy to make a riskier decision than they want to. And right now, the Browns don't seem like they're interested in paying way more of that contract than they have to. And again, there's no pressure necessarily to make that move. Again, 2 months or so till training camp. It's a question of, does Carolina really feel comfortable, with Sam Darnold and Matt Corral going into next season, maybe even Cam Newton, who we saw, come back in 2021, but really didn't show a whole lot that season? Or, for example, if Seattle really believes that Drew Lock and Geno Smith aren't the guys, and maybe they decide to go forward, who knows? It's going to be interesting to kind of watch, how this plays out over the next couple months. I feel like, just based on this continued posturing, that, it's going to take a while. It's taken a while. It's still going to take a while. Maybe the Browns get lucky and one of these teams really needs a quarterback, and then they get a Sam Bradford-esque haul to an extent. I don't know if that happens just because Baker's an expiring contract, but this may be a case where it's looking like the Browns might have to lose the deal just to get some of that salary off so they can roll over at least a little portion of that into 2023 when they're going to need the cap space. So this is just, it's still just kind of a game of chicken right now.
Yep. The more it changes, the more it stays the same. The Browns have to play the waiting game with Baker Mayfield.